Hello, welcome to Puffs and Poetry. I'm your host, Jessica, a writer, cannabis aficionado, and poetry lover. Today, we're smoking out of glass. This may be my favorite glass piece that I own. It's a funny story. We bought this piece, my husband and I bought this piece as a replacement piece. We had a little bubbler, like half this size, that I absolutely loved. It was perfect for when you wanted to smoke glass, but you didn't want a full bong hit. And we had it for several years, and one day I just knocked it over. It shattered, of course, which was devastating. But then we went out and bought this piece, which is beautiful. I love the shower head percolator at the bottom here, and I love the way it rips. So I am choosing to smoke out of glass today rather than rolling my usual joint because I have 3 poems for you today, and one of them is a little bit longer. So glass makes it easier to read longer pieces without worrying about the joint going out or canoeing or ashing in my book or any of that fun stuff. So in here today we have about an 80% CBD, 20% THC mix. This piece is freshly cleaned. There's a couple spots I couldn't get because I ran out of pipe cleaners, but a clean piece of glass is a beautiful thing. So let's get into it. A fun fact for you is that I like to put warm water in my glass pieces. I find cold water can irritate my throat, and I'm actually not a fan of putting ice in any of my glass pieces. I don't find that it makes the rip smoother, it actually hurts more. But I like warm water because I do actually find that it is soothing on my throat. So in here is slightly warm water, not hot, not cold, and I just think it makes for a much smoother hitting experience. I actually wrote an article about the benefits of using warm water in your glass pieces, which I will link in the description below in case you're curious. So today we are reading a couple of poems from Mary Oliver, and these come from the book called Evidence, which was published in 2009. Our first poem today is called Prayer. May I never not be frisky. May I never not be risque. May my ashes, when you have them, friend, and give them to the ocean, leap in the froth of the waves, still loving movement, still ready, beyond all else, to dance for the world. The one thing I will say about glass, as opposed to joints, is I tend to cough more when I smoke them. But you know what they say, you gotta cough to get off. Our second poem today is called Mysteries. Yes. Truly, we live with mysteries too marvelous to be understood. How grass can be nourishing in the mouths of lambs. How rivers and stones are forever in allegiance with gravity, while we ourselves dream of rising. How 2 hands touch and the bonds will never be broken. How people come from delight or the scars of damage to the comfort of a poem. Let me keep my distance always from those who think they have the answers. Let me keep company always with those who say, look, and laugh in astonishment and bow their heads. I have one line highlighted in this poem. It is the line that says, let me keep my distance always from those who think they have the answers. Our next poem, our final poem today, is called At the River Clarion, and it is a longer poem. So I'm going to hit this one more time. and then we'll get into it. You will have to excuse my sniffles. It is springtime and my allergies are just going buck wild. So I am a little gravelly, a little sniffly. I appreciate you bearing with me. That is not what I meant to do. I suppose it would be easier to move my hair if I didn't have a lighter in my hand. Oh man. It is the mark of a good glass piece to make you cough after you hit it. There is sun streaming in my window right now and all of my smoke has gone behind the camera, so I'm just watching it illuminate in the sunlight. At the River Clarion. I don't know who God is exactly, but I'll tell you this. I was sitting in the river named Clarion on a water-splashed stone, and all afternoon I listened to the voices of the river talking. Whenever the river struck the stone, it had something to say, and the water itself, and even the mosses trailing under the water. And slowly, very slowly, it became clear to me what they were saying. Said the river, I am a part of holiness. And I too, said the stone. And I too, whispered the mosses beneath the water. I'd been to the river before a few times. Don't blame the river that nothing happened quickly. You don't hear such voices in an hour or a day. You don't hear them at all if selfhood has stuffed your ears. And it's difficult to hear anything anyway through all the traffic and ambition. If God exists, he isn't just butter and good luck. He's also the tick that killed my wonderful dog, Luke. Said the river, imagine everything you can imagine and then keep on going. Imagine how the lily, who may also be a part of God, would sing to you if it could sing, if you would pause to hear it. And how are you so certain anyways that it doesn't sing? If God exists, he isn't just churches and mathematics. He's the forest. He's the desert. He's the ice caps that are dying. He's the ghetto and the Museum of Fine Arts. He's Van Gogh and Allen Ginsberg and Robert Motherwell. He's the many desperate hands cleaning and preparing their weapons. He's every one of us, potentially. The leaf of grass, the genius, the politician, the poet. And if this is true, isn't it something very important? Yes, it could be that I too am a tiny piece of God, and each of you too, or at least of his intention and his hope, which is a delight beyond measure. I don't know how you get to suspect such an idea. I only know that the river kept singing. It wasn't persuasion. It was all the river's own constant joy, which was better by far than a lecture, which was comfortable, exciting, unforgettable. Of course, for each of us, there is the daily life. Let us live it gesture by gesture. When we cut the ripe melon, should we not give it thanks? And should we not thank the knife also? We do not live in a simple world. There was someone I loved who grew old and ill. One by one, I watched the fires go out. There was nothing I could do except to remember that we receive, then we give back. My dog Luke lies in a grave in the forest. She is given back. but the River Clarion still flows from wherever it has come from to wherever it has been told to go. I pray for the desperate earth. I pray for the desperate world. I do the little each person can do. It isn't much. Sometimes the river murmurs, sometimes it raves. Along its shore were, may I say, very intense cardinal flowers, and trees and birds that have wings to uphold them. For heaven's sake, the lucky ones. They have such obedient natures. They have such deep natures. They are so happily obedient, while I sit here in a house filled with books, ideas, doubts, hesitation. And still, pressed deep into my mind, the river keeps coming, touching me, passing by on its long journey, its pale, infallible voice, singing. At the River Clarion is one of those poems that I come back to again and again. I have many lines highlighted, but I will let you sit with it and decide which ones resonate the most with you. That's all I have for you today. It's a short one. I appreciate you spending some time with me and some time with poetry. If you rolled up, if you packed a bowl, if you ate an edible, I would love to know what you consumed. Please share with me below. If cannabis has impacted your life in a positive way, I would also love to know. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a wonderful day.